Welcome to Authentic Space with Kasha and Chloe, who live their lives unapologetically.
I just feel like, kind of from the older generations, there's just a lot of like judgment and criticism. It's almost like you're not, you don't do what I appreciate, therefore I'm going to judge you versus, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like, versus that thing of like, okay, you are who you are. Like, that's not really me, not my cup of tea. So I'm just going to like go my own way.
I mean, yes, but I want to say that it's like not just us, but it progressively, generations progressively get better at being more understanding of situations that they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why, absolutely. But that's why I feel that the whole judgment and criticism is part of kind of older generations.
Yeah.
Because even when they're doing it, they don't even know they're doing it. At least for us, if it happens, I mean, of course it's going to happen to us because we're kind of like, every generation is kind of, it grabs something from the last one, but it also has a little bit of the future one, right? So it's always, every generation is a mixture of the two. And then depends if you were born on the, on the cusp, the beginning, the ending cusp, you're gonna come with different kind of set of, perspectives, beliefs, and, and kind of, values that you kind of were brought up in, right?
Yeah.
But so like, I feel that like the older generations, they're like, you can tell that they're like judging or criticizing, but like they don't even see it. They wouldn't even call this like judgment or criticism, right? It's just part of what they are and who they are. And I think for us, we're like, sure, it could happen here and there, but like I think we're more like, oh, okay, well, I shouldn't judge her or him or whatever, because because you're tapping into I think every time when we're judging or criticizing, it's almost like we're looking outside of us, right? Or like we see something out there that we don't like, but it's truly something that's within us.
Yeah.
So our generation is more like
to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So our generation is more like, oh, I see this, and even though we initially could like judge it or criticize it, we are able to, I think many of us are aware enough to say, oh wait, that's actually me. Like in reality, I hate my thighs or something, you know what I mean? So
right. So the stuff that we criticize about other people are really the stuff that we subconsciously criticize about ourselves.
Yes.
Or that we don't like about.
What we don't like about ourselves. Yeah. I mean, so
weird to just think about that, but yeah.
From the spiritual perspective, everything we do and everything, our lives, people that we see, it could be you driving on the street and then some maniac, I don't know, tailgating you or something. It like everything, like our entire lives are basically a mirror of us. Or a mirror of something that's within us. And it's super interesting, but like a lot of the times, like it's like it's even hard for me, and I do this on a daily basis, and I'm kind of like, oh, something happened, and I'm like, I know this is a reflection of something within me, but I'm like, I can't get what it is, it's sometimes it's very easy, and it's very like, oh yeah, well, yeah, I hate that about myself actually too, versus like other times it's like, I really don't know why this actually was supposed to mirror like this aspect to me. I just I don't see it, because sometimes it's very literal, and sometimes it's like it's a much deeper it's a much deeper, I call it, wound.
But not everything that we dislike about other people is because we dislike it about ourselves.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's very literal, right? So if you don't like, I don't know, if I don't like I don't know, someone's hair, right? Then it could be literal in the sense of, oh, I really don't like my hair, right? But it's so that's kind of the literal translation. It's almost like literally you can use the same words, you know? But
Hmm.
sometimes, like I said, it might be deeper. It's the fact that, like, oh, I don't like her hair. It might be because, like, I have issues with my hair, right? And or my hair is like trying to like my something like my hair is becoming dry and I'm actually envious of their hair. So it's not as little, but you have to kind of, it's almost like a puzzle that you have to like figure it out, you know? Um, and it's the same thing for the good stuff. If we see joy and happiness, like that's usually a reflection of like, oh, you're a positive person. Or, you know, again, it could be little or it doesn't have to be, you know. It's like if you attract a, you know, I don't know, a screaming maniac versus someone who's just like happy, joyful, and whatever, like that's exactly a reflection of an aspect within you.
Wow, so crazy.
So it's like knowing this, it is so interesting how like we can just like you know be in life so like walk our life, live our life, and just kind of on daily basis we could say, oh, you know, like if at the end of the day you say, oh, I don't like my life, I hate my life, or whatever,
Mm.
then that means there's a lot of shadow reflections within you that life is showing you, and it's trying to trigger you to wake up. It's trying to, the mirror is here to help you see what's not working in your life. You just have to be aware to these things, and instead of putting yourself into the victim stage of like, oh, my life sucks, I'm so miserable, whatever,
Mm.
you just, you know, it's designed to constantly evolve you. It's designed to constantly show you. We don't have to go to psychics to figure out what's within us. Like we could just
Mm.
look at our life every single day.
Mm.
But same thing, you know, people that go to sleep and they're like, damn, my life was so good today. Like, oh my gosh, and I got this, and I got, you know, so many, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I
yeah, of
met
course.
with the most amazing people and friends. And then again, that's also a reflection of what you show off to the world. And then here we are, you know, busy with our lives, and a lot of people don't really, like, you know, you and I were both like thinkers, right? Like if something
Yeah,
happens we actually think about it and we digest it, we analyze it, we even talk it through or something, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
So we're trying to evolve, and we're like, it's almost like we are like, and I think that goes for every like truly like independent entrepreneurial spirit. Like we constantly
Mm.
want to evolve and we constantly want to grow, so we will constantly be in this on this personal development journey.
Mm.
I mean, that's going to be like it's even going to be more than that baby or that business, because that's going to be a personal journey that's like literally even when you sleep,
Yeah,
like,
and you kind of take it like we
yeah,
actually do like that very much. I mean, it's something
exactly.
that we enjoy doing, and we enjoy finding out new aspects of ourselves and just saying like, oh, cool. That's
Hmm.
I mean, we are not
Yeah.
scared of that. Indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then there's people that don't really want to look at that, right?
Mm.
Because, you know, for us, like stuff like that, it always requires you to change. It always requires you to keep on releasing what's no longer serving you, and in order for you to make space for something new to come in, whether it's an experience,
It's
whether
it's
it's
hard
a
work,
new,
huh? I mean, geez.
it's absolutely right. So, but other people, they just want to be stuck in the same, like they want every single day to be exactly the same. Um, and so, you know, like I even have these examples of like, you know, even like in my family, like since we started talking about our families, even my in my family, it's like, you know, like I'm the big psychologist, right? Obviously I coach everyone, I'm the youngest in my family, in my whole family, and then
But
everyone
you're the
comes to me
wisest.
because they have issues, and yeah, I always say like, well, I am an old soul and I'm, you know, very wise, but like, but I always say this, like, you guys, like, I'm the youngest in this family, and somehow, like, I'm the oldest and the wisest here. Like, that is not that should not be the the case
No.
here. Um, but you know, so I always joke around. But the thing is that, like, so I see all these shadows, you know, now because I'm also the you know coach, a psychologist, like I don't also like, I don't always just like, obviously I do me 24/7 because that's just I just love it. It's like living in constant evolution. Um, but because I love this so much, and I love psychology and kind of behaviors and stuff like that, I also analyze like everyone around me, right?
Mm.
And it's so interesting. Like, usually people are like, "Oh my gosh, stop psychologizing me. Like, would you give it a break?" And I just love it so much. I'm like, Don't worry about it. Like, I'm not gonna even tell you what I'm thinking. But I just love it. You're like an extra case for me. Like, that's just awesome. I get to write, an extra article about you. Like, it's just fun." And who thinks that way, right? But
Right.
of course I do. But and because it's my family, so I'm kind of like, every once in a while I'll be like, well, like, I'll see like someone, blaming someone for something, right? And I'm kind of like, well,
Mm.
you really are blaming, but it's really like, you should look at yourself first. Like, I'll say stuff like that, and it's
Mm.
like they can always like mad and in quotes
Well,
at
because
me.
they feel like they are hit by they're criticized.
Well, no, but it's even more than that. It's the fact that, because here's the thing, I would love for someone to do that to me constantly. Because guess what? That means there's less of me doing my own personal work, because I'm doing the same thing with me on an everyday basis. But if someone, like a close person to me, someone that I love, and someone who's like around me all the time, and they
Mm.
kind of point it out to me, then I'll be like, oh my gosh, I've been trying to figure this out for a month. Thanks for telling me. And now I can work
Mm.
on it. Versus, but that's because I love to change, and I love to, like, I don't see it as criticism, because
No.
again, I love the evolution of things, right? I love when there's a constant change, because that's pretty much all there is in life. It's a constant change. And so for people that don't want to look at that, or people that are constantly like, oh, I just want to be in my comfort zone, leave me alone. Um,
Mm.
like, I'll say something, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, you like, here I am, like, trying to be like the worst person in their life, the worst person out there right now, and here you are pointing the things out to me again, type of thing.
Mm.
And it's because they don't want to pass that threshold. They just really don't. They just want to be stuck in their comfort zone.
They're okay with that and whatever.
Yeah, and obviously, I don't do it as I used to do it more, but now it's almost like I won't even say something. They'll look at me and they're like, "Oh, geez, you're analyzing me again."
Mm.
But it's really, that's kind of the difference, right? Where you know, I haven't met a person, and I mean, you can tell me if you like look at me as someone who is a critical person or a judgmental person, right? But it's like when I talk to, like,
It's hard for me to say it because when you say it to me, I don't feel it as criticism. It's because I'm exactly like you, where it's like when you tell me stuff, I'm like, oh, that's cool.
but
Like,
that's actually my point exactly, where
yeah,
it's not about how I say it. People are like, oh, it really depends how you say it or not. No, because if you're fully whole within you, you don't take stuff personally. You only take it as lessons, and that's something, as an opportunity to grow.
it
So,
depends on, it does depend on who says it though. Like, because sometimes people say it because of jealousy and you can feel it. And then it's like,
well, but here's the thing, though. No, I mean, that is true that people sometimes say it in a certain tone of voice, or
mm,
with jealousy or whatever. You can see those, you can feel those, but
yeah.
they're not necessarily. If you don't have an issue with like jealousy, then all you do is like, oh, she or he is jealous. It's almost like it does not affect you one bit.
It doesn't touch you. Yeah, that's true. That's
that's
true.
kind of that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's what I'm saying, like, um you know it's almost like when you experience all of those emotions and they all bother you, it's same thing as
Mm.
like people that don't want to change or step out of their comfort zone. Like, everything will affect them, and even if you say it in the nicest, sweetest way alive, because they have that triggered, they will be triggered, And sometimes like I've met people that were so not willing to open up and change that it's almost like I was like, you could come from the sweetest spot and they'll still like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe you said that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
so, but the more aware you are, or like if you are truly like within yourself and you're working at this, like, yeah, like you become this person of like, like you walk around and you're in public or whatever, and you can actually like, you can like look at a stranger, I don't know, in a fight or something, and you can literally say, oh, that person is angry about something or something. Like you can tell what the emotion is. It's,
Mm,
you can recognize it, but it does not affect you because you're fully in that whole complete state.
yeah.
So you recognize it, and you know, and you just kind of have, oh, you know, like someone could scream or yell at you,
Yeah.
and for you it's like, okay, they're mad or something happened in their life, but it just like doesn't matter to me, like.
Because it doesn't really have any impact on, yeah, on you. And
So even kind of bringing all of this down to like, you know, our parents and the generations, and even kind of our lifestyle,
mm,
um
mm, mm.
you know, it just, I mean, it's like we just open a can of worms.
Oh man, absolutely, absolutely.
Stay tuned for more and join our community at AuthenticSpacePodcast.com and on Instagram at AuthenticSpacePodcast.